Good evening, my dear colleagues. Welcome to another INGED's Zoom series talk. Well, today our guest is Dr. Serkan Gürkan, who is currently working at Kocaeli University, but he worked as a teacher before, so he's very familiar with the actual classroom settings at state schools especially. He has published several international books and book chapters. He has also presented a number of papers at different conferences, both international and national. His main research interests include mobile-assisted language learning, gamification in ALT, teacher education, linguistics, vocabulary learning, and L2 reading. Tonight, as our guest speaker, the title of his talk is How to Gamify Our Classrooms. Thank you, dear Serkan Hocam, for being with us, and welcome again. The screen is all yours.
Thank you so much, Aydan Hocam, for welcoming me and for this nice and kind presentation. Sorry, like introduction, so sorry. And it's my honor to be a part of this INGED Zoom series, guys. I know there are many followers right now, like our colleagues from different universities, some students from both MA and undergraduate level, dear friends all over the country, and maybe some of the countries, and some high techno devices like Xiaomi Infinity Buds. You're welcome too, dear anonymous guys. So I'd like to welcome you all. As Aydan Hocam just mentioned, like I have like almost 20 years of experience of teaching English, and like of this 20 years, like just 4 years in like Ministry of Education as English teacher, and then like I just transferred to Kocaeli University ELT department, and then like just MA and PhD levels later on. But even if you work for universities, like do some research and writing articles, basically we are teachers. So whatever we do, wherever we go, we always teach. And as Aydan Hocam just mentioned, we have some problems, like just to keep students motivated, just to keep them more productive. So lately, with the innovation of technology and like the progression of everything in our lives, basically cell phones, for example, is a great step in humankind in terms of education as well. So many scholars just started to think about like how to integrate these devices or these opportunities in education. It was so logical because like probably like most parents they really find it hard to like how to treat children when they spend so much time on mobile phones as well. So it's not just in education, it's just life itself. And basically we're all gamers. So once upon a time we're all childs. I mean, like, and then during in our childhood, we played many games, more innocent or more, let's say, the opposite game levels in sense. But still, I'm 42 years old, and I'm a pretty good gamer still. And I've known many students of mine, like registered in, enrolled in our department, and they just said, I learned English through games. So after just coming across with these guys, so it dawned on me that okay, like this is a great idea actually. And then I started research on this issue so much, and like as you just mentioned, like doing some work on that as well. And like you've given me another chance to meet with this audience, and like again thank you so much. So guys, like it's gonna be an interactive session, please feel free to ask any questions with the chat bar. And I'm going to use a Mentimeter question, for that platform very well, I guess. So it's going to be interactive, and I'm going to use your own answers as well. Okay. So my presentation won't be that academic, just to have you all in. Okay. So normally this is not a highly academic conference. So I promise I'll do my best not to keep you, let's say, distracted or bored. Feel free, please. Okay, let's get started. Okay, this is gonna be my title, but let's start with, oops, sorry. With a Mentimeter poll. As I just said, personally speaking, I'm a good gamer, okay? And my friends around me just know me that way. So are you good gamers? And basically, why do we play games? Would you please go to menti.com with your mobile phones and later use the code there 3284. And you're gonna give me ideas to talk. Why do we play games in our daily lives, okay? Or in our childhood, in classrooms? Okay, the question is so general, right? Because we have fun, we have interaction. Sometimes people say it's challenging. Yeah, it boosts our creativity. It's fun. Prizes, it's challenging. We love to play roles. Like we have different roles, we have avatars. Sometimes we just bear some of the roles. Relaxation, good. The reasons, escaping from reality. Yeah, it's a good, just like breakout room breath. Remedy to discover. Yeah, I'm not gonna give you spoilers about the presentation, but just one games what was the name? Minecraft. It's a wonderful game for creativity, for example. Competition, positive feelings, developing strategies, because it shows you fail and what to do to step up that level. It's natural sometimes people fake to discover, spend time socializing, good. But basically, fun issues, please more. To foster our imagination, entertainment, proficiency, good. Because games are really good tools for us to gain more proficiency. Learn slangs, come on. Just a pastime, sometimes. Develop integration of students into educational contents might be. Entertain ourselves, risk-taking, and real-life learning, and many stuff. Okay. So why do we play games? Why do you play games? Do you like playing games? I definitely do. So whether you're teaching in at university, at high school, or in primary or kindergarten, we all do play games. And gamification is just the integration of game elements into educational content. And as you're just giving me these brilliant ideas, we're all just doing that integration into our classes with these game elements, because it is fun, because it's relaxation. People sometimes feel stressed. They don't want to just listen to teachers all the time. They want to integrate into the like learning environment as well. Interaction, good, and many others. Okay, thanks for this brilliant ice-breaking time. Oh, we're getting more quoted. Okay, so I'm gonna have a lot of questions. Okay, we're gonna use Mentimeter more, but let's turn back to my presentation and hear from me. Also, I'm gonna just tell you some ideas of mine. Also some brilliant colleagues around. We can have, let's say, some talks on instructional methods, how to use them with the gamified environment. So the title is How to Gamify Our Classroom, and like you can see an image on the cover. Let's say, do you remember what game is that? That was my favorite. A group of friends just invented that game while eating a pizza. You know? And it's so creative, even from the foundation of the game. And what's that? It's the Pac-Man, right? Pac-Man. Like, just remember the logo, a slice of pizza eaten and the rest all there. It was really fun during my childhood. And still sometimes, let's say, during some websites, like on some websites, I will love Pac-Man and related ones. But what is gamification? Some believe that it's really fun and it should be integrated in educational field. And some teachers, some educators are not really willing to take part in this process because I don't think like they hate gaming or playing games, but they may not know how to integrate like games into education. So gamification is a process where game-based elements and mechanics are applied in other principled non-ludic environments. And the aim is to lead the people to do a certain set of tasks and to act in a desired way. So we're leading you somewhere actually. And it tends to increase the motivation, the concentration, or the effort, for instance. And what happens? Because you success, and success brings a motivation. And then, like being motivated, you want you want to be more successful all the time. So that is a great idea, actually. So it's just like catch-22 situation, like what brings motivation, success, or success brings motivation, but still it works. So let's do some prior knowledge tests. Some people says like gamification is a fact. Some people says a myth. Here, some statements, okay? You can use chat for messages. Gamification can be described as playing games in the classroom. What do you say? Is it a fact or a myth? Just use F or M to the chat bar. So at least you're giving me a chance to see your perceptions. It's an approach for some others. What do you think? Is it an approach? Is it a fact or a myth? An approach, you think, definitely, John. Perfect. Thank you. According to studies, let's say, gamification improves learning since 75% people are gamers. It depends, actually. It depends on some research ideas. Tetris, remember Tetris? Like it used to have a really big device game. Like we couldn't really leave that device from hands. Yay, Tetris. So I guess like by reminding you the old games, like as old people, okay, we're getting happier. But still, our soul is super young. Gamification has been applied to almost every aspect of life. It's a fact. I believe that so. That's a fact. Thank you so much, Ojalaram. That's great, and it's going very interactive. And it was 1992 when academics recognized the potential of gaming into teaching. You don't have to know it much earlier. Yeah, it must have been way before that. So some of these statements are correct, some are not, you know. It's just, I'm using them to get some interaction actually. So game or play. A physical or mental competition conducted according to rules with the participants in direct opposition to each other, because some games, you know, were played in a multi-gamer mode, like multiplayers. At the same time, we're playing against each other and like it's competing. And engage in activity for enjoyment and recreation rather than a serious practical purpose. Just some statements. Game or play. But these are taken from actually some very well-known dictionaries actually, as literally known. But the connection is, the crucial connection, the crucial interplay between these two terms is a game is a structured form of play. Okay? So we can play anything, but gaming needs some structure, needs some discipline, needs some organization. So why do we play games? You have given your answers because it's fun, and we experience some main motivations, and we're trying to get more points because we want to achieve something. Sometimes, let's say, we imagine oneself in the game world, especially very young kids do that more, and they're immersed into the game so much. Remember, like, I mean, just treating themselves as the Spider-Man, you know. And competition, trying to defeat opponents, and cooperation, working together as a team. Even very young children, you know, okay, they have really great social networks these days. And they're talking, they're interacting with each other during like via the games. And there are 16 different human motivators and their object of desires according to gamings. For example, I'm going to give you some names of games here. For example, in parentheses, you're going to see some names of games here, like balance of power, generally power and influence, curiosity, knowledge, civilization, independence, self-reliance, Oregon Trail, acceptance, being a part of the group, Guild Wars 2, order, organization, Tetris. Like I didn't think that I was really organized while just playing Tetris at that time, but still it works that way. Honor, loyalty, football, still like, why are you supporting your clubs? Idealism, social justice, amnestic the game, social contact, companion, the Pictionary, for example. Sims, many ladies, they will recommend it probably or remember it. The Sims, raising kids, family, or just like fashion, doing anything with the house. Status, social standing, World of Warcraft. Vengeance, getting even, Angry Birds, still I play sometimes. Romance, Sex and Beauty, Leisure Suit Larry. Physical activity, exercise, rest, and tranquility, emotional calm, Candy Crush. It was such an addiction for many people around, you know, like during just going from some place to another, yeah, like public transportation or even waiting, like killing some time, the Candy Crush for everyone else. Like so much. And eating like food, Pac-Man, my favorite still. Yeah, there are many trending eating simulators on Roblox. Exactly. I have a nephew, 8 years old, and like, what did he ask from me for his birthday? Roblox. Like, I mean, a new avatar, a new, like, a level up, a new locker, and like, if I'm not mistaken, I paid 250 for just a small level up thing, a clue. But they know it. Yeah, Iraz Rajam, I got your question. Like during my speech, you're gonna find out some answers to your question. Okay? Thank you for, yeah, thank you for your question. Amando Jam, allow mesh free games to helps to assimilate knowledge. Exact no Jam. We can use games for consolidation, like I mean, just exercising activities, or just like acquiring information thing. Yeah, children are really better in gaming. So guys, like I guess more than 80 people here, which type of gamers are you? Are you achievers, explorers, socializers, beaters, or completionists? So these profiles also gives you a hint about your character as well. Also for teachers, these gaming profiles gives teachers a good opportunity to know their students better. Because like, if they're completionists, they want to complete their exercises or assignments or tasks as well. Or beaters who thrive on competition with other players. So maybe we can give them skills or we can give them some chances to play and we can have more chance to get to know them. Later, we're going to integrate more gaming elements in our instructions. Achievers like to gain points and overall succeed within the game parameters, collecting all rewards and game badges. Explorers like to discover all areas within the game, including hidden areas and glitches, and expose all game mechanics. Socializers who prefer to play games for social aspect rather than actual game itself. You know, just chatterboxes rather than gaming. They all just chit chat. Beaters are very ambitious guys. And completionists, for example, I guess like that's me. Completionist, a combination of the achiever and explorer types. I like to discover new things. But when I start something, I definitely finish it, complete it. So that's my profile. What is yours? Yeah, it depends. Sometimes you might switch from one role to the other. It can also be that way. Okay, just to use the time effectively, I'm gonna move, please, guys. So gamification and game-based, they may not be the same. Gamification is the application of game elements to non-game entities to encourage a specific behavior. So I'm integrating gaming element into education. So it's gamification. But game-based is the idea of starting with a game, then molding your curriculum to fit into it. It's a concoction of games and education where two elements are easily visible on their own. So game-based learning revolves around three main ideas: failure, repetition, and accomplishment of goals. So once you fail, what do we say? Fail. The first attempt in learning, right? So okay, never give up, just try it again. So next time you're gonna level up. It's the same. And recent coursebooks, they really integrate many gaming elements into their curriculum, into their LMS, like learning management systems as well. They have internet-based, or they have some mobile application-based, some supplementary materials. That's really brilliant, and that's really an aiding element for teachers as well. Very time-saving, and like it gives us more ideas, to gather more ideas from our students. So gaming elements, what are those? Like achievements, levels, rewards, challenges, socialization, rankings, avatars, trophies, and real-time activities mostly. What do we have generally in games? Once you achieve, you level up, and then you come up with a challenge. But like with every good action, you collect some scores, points, and then level up. And you get rewards. And then with these rewards, you can buy something, or you can use those points to do something else. So it goes in a progression level. For avatars, you might treat yourself as a different person. Likewise in Saggistopedia, in our teaching methodology, you're not Aidan anymore. Now, from now on, you're Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer. Think. It's George Lozano's idea for Saggistopedia. Desuggesting, like removing all the barriers in mind, lowering affective filter, and then loading the instructional content. It's just like spoon feeding, guys. Like, just imagine you're feeding your baby. What do? You talk to that baby with either, child-directed speech, with more intonation, with repetition. You play with the baby, and you distract him or her, and then you put the food into mouth. So, isn't it the same? So with gaming elements, it's life itself. So we can use those elements in classrooms, and then we can teach them anything we like. But the real problem is how and which games. So this is really endless, actually, because like there are a lot of games, and a lot of games, uncontrolled games. So it's our duty as teachers to filter, actually, or recommend some games for our kids, both out of the class and in the class. There are more game elements over here. Sometimes I use that presentation for different groups, and like in face-to-face presentations, I make them like this way. Please pick 6 or 8 elements out of this list, and then create your own game, like that. Just for a minute, I'm giving you some time to think about, if I were to design a game for my students, what would be the first 6 elements you're going to integrate for your gamified learning environment? Because in a game, you cannot have it at all. I can imagine some just picking achievement, badge, level, reward, time, finish, start. And I'd be delighted if you really design any games to use your creativity. Just imagine your students and just send me your games. Really. And I promise, you have my word, I'm gonna give feedback to your games, and like you're going to just improve your games, and believe me, like it's gonna be fun. And when you apply those games into classrooms with your students, you're gonna feel it. Yeah, it's working. Okay, I have to move. You're gonna have the presentation. No worries. Okay. Let's move. So when does it make sense to use? For example, once upon a time, while I was studying, like teaching for like Milli Eğitim Bakanlığı those days, sorry, like I was using gamification, but like I didn't know gamification even exists actually. But some of the parents, you know, they were complaining, we're sending our kids to learn something, but you're just gaming in the classroom. So they're going to take tests. They're going to take TEOK, they're going to take TET, AYT, ÖSS, ÖSS, and like still I'm really confused about these acronyms so much. But maybe we should even tell parents gaming is not a bad thing, as long as you control, as long as you really help students how to use them. To encourage a specific response or behavior, we can use it in our classrooms. To increase the visibility and the perceived, because during gaming, while they play the games, you can have them, like you can see your students more productive. They can write, they can speak, but it's a good way to hear them out loud. Because otherwise, you know, when you ask a direct question in the class, it might be theoretical or it might be based on your daily experience. Students are not really willing to talk. But when you give them a reason or a game element, event and activity, they're more interactive, they're more productive. So by this way, you monitor your teaching more. The importance of otherwise minor or less visible actions, just like perceived. Okay, this is the continuation, actually, like the rest of that statement, sorry. To promote competition and to engage students. It depends on you when to use competition, when to use collaboration. You know, when younger kids, actually, competition doesn't work that much, but still, we compete with each other. But the profiles are important. Are you a completionist, a bidder, an achiever, or do you know, let's say, which profile you really fit in as a student or as a grown-up? And to help students track their own progress. Yes, that's my favorite one actually here. Because like with the use of games, we can track their progress and they can track their own progress. Because sometimes we are limited. I mean, like in terms of, we cannot have a chance to give feedback to all of our students very efficiently. And we can use gaming elements, and by playing those games, for example, some ready-made games or some brilliant course books designed by really well publishers, for example. They integrate gaming elements into their curriculum. So while gaming, you can track their progress. Also, students there can track their own progress. Where am I? Okay, what should I do? How can I progress myself? But even they're calling each other like, Ali Hocam, like, have you leveled up? You know, I did. Didn't you? Come on, I did. Like, just, you know, sometimes, you know, just like jealous issues. But like, it's a trigger to ourselves again. And some gamified products. Now, I'm going to talk about more of these gaming elements because it's the life itself. Because every day we see gamification, gaming elements in some applications. For example, Nike app. What does it do? Or simply, we have many applications in our mobile phones, and like it gives you how many steps you've taken, right? Sometimes there are some applications, it gives you some rewards, some bonuses, some scores, and you can buy, or you can send gifts to your friends, or you can really buy something for yourself with just walking. The app tracks our running statistics and measures and progress towards goals. At all, or most of us as researchers, okay, we have LinkedIn profiles, for example, and while just uploading our information, it gives us, okay, you completed you uploaded like 25% of your profile, then 70% of your profile, and then 95% of your profile, or you have a picture, okay, now it's done, 100%. So in every essence of life, actually, mostly with these social sites, actually, we have this gaming issues. How about our Starbucks, coffee lovers? Probably, like, I'm not really limited here in what Starbucks app, but like they're doing something really brilliant. They're genius guys in terms of marketing. I'd like to congratulate, because we have some, welcome level, register your card. Then after 5, I guess, stars, we have a green level. Then after 30 stars, you have a gold level. So get a drink every 15 stars. So what are they doing? They're making you actually addicted to it somehow. Because like you buy more to get more, but still it works. Otherwise, like you're gonna pay for all of them. But still, in many products, in many applications, gamification is already in our lives. Okay? I'm just using these like images as a proof. It's already in our education. Or some language learning platforms and applications like Memrise, Mondly, Busuu, Duolingo. There are many, right? Like, and they're using some teams, like you are an astronaut going onto your journey to learn a new language. As you learn and progress, you gain levels, and your pet, alien, evolves as well. Look at that. You're bringing an alien into life. And like, you might remember, I'm not really sure about the name, but like we used to have a small device, like a pet. We were feeding it. But anyone remember the name? Like, I guess like a Southeastern invention. What was that? Come on, like now it's gonna really limit me. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Aziz. Talk is working on some gamification, exactly. New Tamagotchi might be. I'm not sure, but like forget it. But like you're gonna think about it probably after the presentation as well. It was just like the key ring, and like we were taking it everywhere. Like if we leave it behind, like it feels depressed and even just like get small, kinda. Tamagotchi is that? Thanks so much. Thank you so much. So okay, have you seen the real gamers, Tamagotchi guys? Umut. By the way, Umut is a very close friend of mine, like, and we used to play so much together. Remember, my friend? We're PlayStationers. Okay, from earning points for completing lessons to leveling up a little alien path, the app continues to show the user their status and progression, and memorize point and translate mode that allows players to turn on their camera, point an object, and get the object translated in real time. Look at that. And it's a phenomenal way to get creative and capture your own vocabulary library. So it includes personification and individualization as well. Duolingo, it's kind of similar thing. And many others like Flip Quiz, Quizzes, Kahoot, Jeopardy Labs, and Mentimeter, we're using some. With gamification and education, okay, even we use it in the first stage of education, and some people just believe that gamification is the technology. No, okay, it's not limited to technology only. We can use gamification, but like just building blocks with this colorful papers, or again in I guess the silent way mode, like Kuzner rows. Remember, anything that can keep students motivated, any material might be a good tool, a good material for gamification. So what are the advantages of gamification for education? It increases the motivation of students, improves their reasoning process and their autonomy. Like, why am I doing that? Okay, I should complete that task. So with whom? With friends or on me? Okay, like I'm playing it by myself. So it gives you autonomy. It gives you responsibility. Promotes active learning because you're engaged. Provides immediate information, feedback, student and the teacher. Exactly, because teachers have the control. And with the games you give them, you can have a dashboard actually controlling like who is doing what. It increases creativity, promotes physical and mental abilities, and creates positive attitudes. Definitely, I agree with these terms. But of course, okay, it's not problem-free. Some basic examples from our classrooms, okay, with the use of technology, using electronic voting devices in class, for example. But we can now do it with mobile phones by giving some tools, or by using such websites like Mentimeter, for example. Even with a group of, let's say, 1,000 people, because I did it once in one of the conference, that was really, the hall was huge, and I guess like almost 1,000 people, and like it really worked, because otherwise it's not easy to collect answers one by one. Teaching innovation project is another thing, right? It's not limited to English only, of course. It increases the participation, concentration, and understanding because we're engaged, and possibility of using it for continuous evaluation. And I know, because like Turkey's education is based on mainly standardized tests, and many test takers and test givers and test developers are still using that continuous evaluation tools by using some interactive platforms. More examples, like Playbrighter, Captain Up, Class Dojo, Course Hero, and many others. Because by using these, we can give our kids like stickers and badges, some gifts. Basically, they're all like digital, but they're just creating their digital self in the world. And after just the emergence of gamification, we're still talking about artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and many other aspects as well. And even some politicians nowadays, like they're doing their meetings by using, VR glasses. So it's into everything. But in the final part of our presentation, let's talk about ideas for gamifying our classrooms, which is our title. Okay? For example, just imagine you're just doing something for academic, and like you have academic objectives onto your students. So giving points for meeting academic objectives. So they're going to get scores. Students need to be citing details from the text and evidence from conclusions in class discussions. Answers like evidence, 1 point. A correct answer with a piece of evidence, 2 points. A correct answer, 2 pieces of evidence, like 3 points. So they're collecting points after completing each academic objective. That's one idea for academic one. Another one, giving points for meeting procedural or non-academic objectives, like need to solve a classroom issue such as shortening the time it takes to check homework. All students who have their homework out ready to be checked before being prompted by the teacher now receive 2 points. Like, and they're gonna chase you like, Hojam, I did it. Like, where's my point? Because you know, they like to get points and show off. Okay, I got my points, where's yours? Creating competition within the classroom. Sometimes we need it to create, you know, a more ambitious feeling in the class. It might be teachers versus class, because some students are trying to beat the teacher. We're also participants. Students must follow the rule that the teacher sets. For example, anytime a student follows the rule, the class gets a point. Anytime a student doesn't follow a rule, the teacher gets a point. This is particularly great for introducing procedures and behavioral expectations. If the class wins, use a sustainable reward, such as a minute of dance party, for example, or extended recess time, or fewer homework problems, because they're not fancy about, you know, homework so much. But this really works. Class against teacher. Comparing and reflecting on performance in nuanced ways are personalized for each student. How? At the end of some video game levels, just assume you've given them some video games. The player's performance is broken down into countless details offering enormous data, achievements, and ways to reflect and document their performance and compare with others. So it gives us more chance to know our students more. For example, one game might offer statistics of which objectives are met and how, assign the badge based on that particular performance style, then track every minute detail around that performance. You can imagine total number of jumps, number of enemies looted, number of different ways a specific problem was solved, kind of. Of course, it takes time, but it worth it. Number 5, unique rewards for a range of unique students, because your students are not the same. As we say, one shirt does not fit all. They're unique brains, they're unique minds, and they have different learning styles, they have different gaming profiles. Students can get sunglasses to wear until the period is over at 5 points, the privilege to take off their shoes at 10 points, and a positive text to their parents at 15, and the highest score is over 15. Whoever has it may steal the teacher's chair, just for fun for kids. Using levels, checkpoints, and other methods of progression, like checkpoints over multiple classes. When students reach an important milestone, such as 100 points, let them level up. As they progress further, give out sustainable milestone rewards, such as eating lunch with the teacher or free dress pass if your school wears uniforms. Just an idea. And stir up a little competition. Cuphead is adopting game mechanics by including a tournament module in our platform, like in one of the platforms here. Professors have found out tournaments incentivize students to learn materials and practice. So like here, using some really interactive and games that you can track their scores might give them some incentives. After all, everyone wants to see his or her name on the leaderboard, right? Just like it. So trying hard to be, let's say, seen on the top of the title. No grading. By abandoning grades and implementing an experience points, students' letter grades are determined by the amount of points they have accumulated at the end of the course. In other words, by how much they have accomplished. So they're given just, letter grades, A, B, C, or B. Let's say we sometimes have like AA, BA, BB, kind of that, but not scores. Reward for all. This is Barış Manço style, you know. You're all champions. Implement the whole, let's say, class-wide reward system. Encourage, let's say, camaraderie among students by setting up a reward system where students achieve something as a team. So teamwork, it's collaboration, no competition. For example, let's set a goal of 80% of the class passing an exam. Like you will pass. So probably, or okay, just an example, you might give them a reason. For example, okay, if 80% of you have a score of 80 and above, I'm gonna dance for you, which is a brilliant, because like I don't know, just like remember for yourself, just a few figures, but students will love it and will allow you to dance on the stage. And as a reward, give the entire class a bonus points, even a party. Sometimes maybe something, like even a tea, coffee, or just some time with you is enough for them, because they love you and they love the time with you. And provide instant feedback. That's one of the most crucial ideas, actually. Games are excellent ways to learn because you typically take on a problem-solving mindset. Oh, I didn't pass this level. Why? What can I do differently to progress forward? So it may cross their minds. And even for you guys, like for teachers, you can gamify your teaching style as well. Like just like a checklist. Give yourself a bonus after each, let's say, good teaching day or good teaching hour. I really enjoyed it so much. Okay, that's good. For example, you got a really clever response, or let's say a moment, you know, okay, that magic moments. So collect your scores and like give, but like there should be a deadline for you as well. Like after that deadline, you're gonna compare your performance. Okay, in October I got 58. In November, still I'm 30. So I should speed up. I should collect myself. So motivating yourself, even for teachers, gamification is cool. Some games even give you instant feedback by telling you to adjust your speed or angle. That may even use feedback to motivate you forward, like, good job, keep going. Congratulations, hey you. And games are excellent ways to learn because we typically take on a problem-solving mindset, because like they're mostly based on problem-solving learnings. They can help them understand how to move forward, but also help them become lifelong learners. And by teaching them to use feedback as a tool, gives them the tool to take the reins of their own learning, like become autonomous, and can also motivate them in the meantime. I have many students in different regions, in different let's say, teaching environments, honestly speaking. And one of the most problems I come across, guys, they don't know how to motivate themselves. And they're asking motivation from you. Even if they're adults, okay, I'm so down. What should I do? Like, I cannot do this. How can I do this? First, collect yourself. First, let's say sometimes we say up, sometimes we say tits up. I mean, like, collect your posture, collect yourself, and even value yourself. Yeah, these are the references of mine, and thank you so much for participation. It's lovely to be with you guys under Inget roof here. Like, I don't know, I guess like I'm a real completionist because time management is
You did
perfect,
a
right?
great job, excellent job. And thanks a million for this extremely informative, but at the same time, fun session. I didn't even notice how the time flew. As I don't know, I mean, I had lots of fun and I kept lots of notes. There are some questions in the chat box, though.
Yeah.
So I will ask the participants if they have any questions. You still have time. Think about the questions that you want to ask or the comments that you want to make, and you can raise your hand and definitely take the stage. If you have written down Serkan Hocam's email address, I'm going to ask you, Hocam, to stop sharing your screen so that we can see everybody. Yes, the participants. And I can definitely follow you guys if you raise your hands. Now, the first question I have noticed in the chat box was like at the very beginning of the presentation. So maybe the participant has received an answer, but let me ask it. How do you decide whether a game is at the right level of your students?
Okay. Hocam, okay, we have CFR levels in our instruction, and like we can use it for any materials. I mean, like for evaluating any materials. So, all games have some, instructions like do this, do that. Some imperatives or some in other forms. So first, before just recommending the game to your students, like you can evaluate the language, right? And we have, word lists, like A1 word list, A2 word list, like B1, B2 word list. So according to the words, the vocabulary, and the structures you come across at that game, you should match them, try to match them with the levels, and accordingly, you can just recommend the games to your students. That's really easy. And a gamification thing is not really something out of space thing, actually. Like it's something really like using any material for teaching. Because the solution is the same, using CFR levels, because like we're teaching English and they're learning English, they're not acquiring English.
Yeah, and I bet as the teacher of that group, you can definitely observe your students and decide whether they can manage that game or not, whether they can feel a little bit too scared with the game or not. Now, Serkan Hocam, there are other questions, but let me ask you this.
Okay.
Is there something that you want to add?
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Like, in gaming or in gamified learning environments or in gaming applications, whatever you say, students love the feeling of succession, like success. So they have to feel it. Because while we recommend some games to them, it has to be really appropriate for their levels, as you just mentioned before. Because like if you give them like compressible input theory thing, okay, if you're giving them too hard games for them to play, they can't. And when they cannot complete or level up from a stage, they will give it up.
So the game should be challenging, but not too challenging.
So here comes
Challenging, but achievable.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's going to be motivating and fun later.
Serkan Hocam, this gamification has become a very popular concept in ELT recently. However, I have also noticed that some scholars kind of criticize it because it focuses too much on points and rewards and gifts and pluses and, success and, things like that, claiming that they are extrinsic motivators. And in fact, what we are trying to do is to motivate our students intrinsically. So, of course, I'm not saying that gamification is not valid. It is. But I would like to hear what you think about this too much focus on reward system, points, getting to the next level kind of thing.
Okay, John, thank you. That's really a hotly debated issue, actually, and a problem. And let's say during my speech, I guess I said gamification is not problem-free, if you remember.
Yes.
So there have been many criticisms against gamification due to the problems or the issues you mentioned, like too much focus, too much concentration, rewarding system, and so forth. And again, for the participants here, please go over some of the recommendations online, like no grading system, for example. So you don't have to give scores, give levels up for students. Just make them enjoy the gaming thing. Just the feeling is important there. But like some people, and they're not kids, even in life, they're playing cards, they're playing PlayStation, but they hate losing the games.
I know.
So it's not just learners, it's we are. I mean, so it's based on personality. As teachers, we have to know what do really our students like. Do they really like this rewarding system? And you're going to see it. If it works, go on. But when you feel, for example, when you reward one kid, the other may cry, especially, or when you give a sticker to one kid, the other might, let's say, cry. Like it might really work counterproductive.
Yes.
In that sense, like going on the same, let's say, strategy, it's not a good idea. So we have to know our kids, we have to know our students. So accordingly, you can eliminate some elements of gamified environments. So use only the ones that you like and your students like. So it's not a must thing. Okay, this is gamification. You're going to use it all. It's not it's a full package. No, it's not that one.
Excellent point. Nur Hocam, in fact, has written down something related to that in the chat box. She suggests a book, Beni Ödülle Cezalandırma. She says, I believe that this book will provide different points of view for teachers and teacher educators when we think about rewards, punishment, collecting points, and competition. So, Nur Hocam, I believe we have kind of touched upon what you have mentioned here. So, is it real life? Unfortunately, it is. Life itself is competitive. We always find ourselves in those situations. And unfortunately, we are after points. It may be only points, it may be some liras as well. but we are after something all the time. We are
Hocam, may I
human
have a word
beings.
over here?
Of course, sure.
I guess as far as I can see, there are many academicians from different faculties right now. Okay?
Yes.
And even we are expected to compete with each other, even in the same department.
Oh, yes.
Isn't it? Amanda Hocam, you can also just join. Because
Yeah.
like after every article, okay, we get points. Like applying for, you know, the assistant professorship or associate professorship, or let's say professionals. Again, we prepare files. What for? For every article, for every project, we're given scores. Even Higher Education Council using gamification without knowing it, probably. So it's the
Well,
life itself.
I wouldn't call it gamification.
I know. I'm just joking.
I have a nastier name for it, but I'm not gonna pronounce it. And I believe, Sedat Hocam, this kind of answered your question as well, because Sedat Hocam in the chat box also mentioned that gamification can be a little bit risky for low-level students or slower students, because they may feel a little bit demotivated when they see that they always lose. They can never catch up with faster students. But Sedat Hocam, if you want to elaborate on your question, you're more than welcome.
Yeah,
I don't know if...
Yes.
Yeah, go
Good evening,
ahead.
by the way.
Good evening.
Sorry, by the way, I joined a bit late, 15 or 20 minutes late, because I had also another meeting. So sorry if I missed that point, but I observed this.
meetings, Hocam. No problem.
I observed this during the teaching practice course. I visited schools and I observed our pre-service teachers, and they use Kahoot or some games. It doesn't necessarily be technologically enhanced games, but they might be just paperwork games. And I noticed that some students in the back row, I usually sit at the back row, and I noticed that some students, when they understand that they will never win that game, or they will never be rewarded, they usually give up. And the best students, usually the front row students, they are already motivated students, because so we don't need to motivate them more, but they are really motivated, and they always in a competition with each other, but the rest is just watching them. And for the Kahoot games, for example, they see the names, and always they see the best students' names on the board. There are only 10 students on the board, but the rest 30 students never see their names on the board. So they know that whatever I do, I will never be in the first row. So they are demotivated. We have to motivate those students, but we usually demotivate, and the gap between the best students and the low students is getting higher, bigger and bigger in time. I observed this while our pre-service teachers are teaching in teaching practice course, and that was that comment actually, Serkan Hocam.
Sedat Hocam, thank you. That was really a good point, because like I observed some similar like reflections from classrooms. But the problem is not here the gamification or gaming elements. The problem is putting those kids at the same class. I mean, because they don't have similar language levels here. So, you know, okay, this is a really big problem in our country. Like, I mean, differently, how can I put it, maybe different proficiency levels, students from different proficiency levels, okay, are placed in the same class, and they might even just feel inferiority complex. Like, as you said, whatever I do, I'm not gonna be as best as him or as best as her, like that. But here, the solution is again the teacher, I mean the helper. So once you figure out those weak students, okay, maybe you should change the game, or maybe you should now apply differentiation in education. You must have heard it, Hocam, because like, I mean, grouping students, I mean, grouping this class into maybe 4 or 5, and giving them different games that can achieve at the same time. Do you feel what I mean, Hujam? So that's the solution. Because like even sometimes while we're teaching something academic, something really theoretical, not all students can really follow us, successfully at the same time. What do? We give them some tasks. And at the same time, we can teach differently leveled students in a different way at the same time. It's hard, but not impossible.
Or maybe we can find a different category to reward them. I don't know if we have to reward them, I guess.
Yeah.
Hocam, I have seen your hand.
Successful.
Don't worry, I'm going to ask you to take the stage, but we just want to finish this first. So if you feel that that student really feels inferior or very demotivated, maybe we can, I don't know, as a teacher, come up with a very creative category to put that student's name at the top of the list. Maybe a way, I don't know. There are always, teachers can always find a way. Okay,
Yes,
we are great
I
actors.
agree.
We are great actors. When we appear in front of the class, we start acting. We are much better than Shakespearean characters, believe me.
Exactly.
So,
we're all wizards.
Yes.
Hocam. We're all wizards.
Yes, we
right?
are. Well, Amanda Hocam is the best, of course. She
Yeah,
always
and we're
has
followers
her
of her.
name at the top of the list. I'm so jealous of her. Ergun Hocam, please go ahead and ask your question or make your comment.
It was a comment actually on the same topic. We just had the outdoor classroom day like yesterday, I think. So I took my students out to play some vocabulary game. They are getting prepared for the legacy exam. It was just a simple vocabulary game. Still, I integrated a board game in it, so that that underachievers that are not very academically successful but really enjoy that kind of games were, the besties of the team. So they also attributed to their, team's level or points. And still it can be thought of like, that's what I mean is the key point is the teacher, because, there are some students that are very good at sports, so you can add some sports in it. The girls, they really enjoy dancing. So you can put some singing and dancing in it, and everybody knows that they are good, so they can add some more points. So the key point here, as you said, and it's not that hard actually. It's only about knowing your kids, like what are they good at? Maybe not in English, but they have different things. Like there are some, let's say, very good painters or skilled drawers and things like that. It's just about knowing the kids very well or closely so that you can design your gamification process according to them, and it really works, and they all enjoy that in this kind of situation.
I do agree with you, Ergun Hocam, and plus it is even better if we can find a connection between that specific skill that the student has and the language point that we are studying. So we can easily say that, are you getting this point because of your English, not because of your dancing skill? But, that's why I say we are much better than Shakespearean actors, because we always come up with a very creative connection.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that.
Thank you very much for your
You're welcome. Thanks for the nice evening and the nice presentation. It was great being here.
Thank you.
Ergun Hocam.
Also, Jam,
I have a word.
Yeah, sure.
But based on Ergun Hocam's comments, every time I present this topic, I feel like the teachers are the coach, in a sports game, okay, in a sports team. The teachers are the coach, right? The trainers, and all the students are the players. Just imagine a football team, right? Not every student is a good striker, or not every student is a good goalkeeper. or a defense player or a midfielder. So they have different skills, they have different abilities, they have different learning styles. So it's our job to find them, find the best way to make them the best of them themselves.
Mhm.
So like remember some really great sports players in any kind of sports. With some trainers, they had their best years in their career, and with some other trainers, they got lost.
Mhm.
So it's the same. Sometimes we Polish actually, we just okay, like a sculpture. I mean, we sculpt them
Mhm.
and like we give them shapes, but we also give them freedom
Mhm.
because they're different minds and they know themselves much better. But we have to assist them, we have to aid them to find the best of their selves.
Mhm.
And with the fun issue, like whether you say it's gamification or some other thing, I don't care really.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
not really stuck with this label so much. But basically, what do? We are trying to help them to figure out themselves. Still,
Yes.
every people, even like a young kid or adolescent, but still, or adults, we're trying to find our entities and we're still searching for who we are, what kind of a person we are, what kind of a learner we are. Sometimes each day we're discovering something new. I like
Yes.
that, but I haven't tried it before. I
Mhm.
should do it more. That's it.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. And as far as I know, a gamification concept started in the USA. Uh, it's a country where competition is like a breath in life. They always compete. That's
Yeah.
why I guess culturally we suffer a little bit when we try to gamify everything. However, as Serkan Hocam has mentioned, this is a kind of an approach, and this is a different approach. You may like it, you may want to adapt it, you may want to avoid it. That's all up to you and your learners. Serkan Hocam has never stated that this is the solution to all of our problems. It may
Exactly.
be a solution if it works for you. But who says that gamification is the answer? And at the beginning, Ali Hocam, if you're still here, has mentioned something. He said, do we have to be competitive in a game? Can't we
No,
be cooperative and collaborative?
we
Huh,
can
Ali
at the same
Hocam,
time.
are you still here? I can't see your name. Yeah, you're here.
Yes, hocam, I'm here.
It's a wonderful point. Is there anything that you want to add to that?
Hocam, in addition to my question, I have to, not have to, I must confess that I was a perfectionist.
Hmm.
And I really do not want my children to be like me.
Mhm.
In every game, in every play, in every competition, I was just focused on, motivated on winning.
Mm.
And I suffered a lot in my both professional life and private life.
Mm.
So I think the focus must not be on winning.
Mhm.
This is why I'm asking.
I think we can find cooperative and collaborative games.
Yeah.
Especially, I'm a young learners fan, as you all know. Especially with young learners, we keep saying that we should not fire up their competitiveness because they can become so hostile. They can hurt each other, believe me. Physically, they can hurt each other. So competition is not something that we encourage with very young learners and young learners. And if there is competition, as Serkan Hocam suggested, we always find a way to claim everyone a winner. So there's no loser in the group, okay? All of you guys did wonderful. You all won. Hey, congratulations. Ooh, you know. So let's have a party all together, you know, that kind of thing.
That's why I gave Barış Manço example, because
Yes.
like, okay,
May he rest in
he was a
peace.
legend. Still, okay, he's a great model for all of us.
Yes. Well, Serkan Hocam, I really don't know how to thank you. It has been a pleasure to have you with us as our speaker. People keep asking questions, but come on, guys, go back to do something at home. Your wife, your spouse, your husband, your children are looking for you. Enough is enough. They can never get enough of you, Serkan Hocam. Maybe,
Or Hocam, they can just directly access with me. Like,
yeah,
they have
or
my
maybe
email
we
address,
can
or
have,
they can follow my Instagram and like they can ask their
should
questions to
definitely
me.
do that. Or we can have another session maybe in the future. Why not? Huh?
Always with you, Hocam.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I
What
really
did I
don't know
say?
how to
Better late
express
than
my
never.
gratitude.
Yeah.
And of course, my dear colleagues, dear participants, without you, I don't know how I would spend my Friday evenings. I'm learning with you. I'm improving myself both professionally and personally with you, with your contributions, with your remarks, with your help. Thank you just for being you and for being with us. Take
You're
very
welcome.
good care of yourselves.
Thank you so much
Bye-bye.
for everyone.
Bye-bye.
It's my honor. Okay. Thank you. Have a nice
Thank
night.
you. Thank you, Hocam. Bye-bye.